Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream. Today is August the 29th. I'm going to do your spiritual principle a day in a meditation. I greet you this morning. I'm brought to you by Hope Through Navigation. This is our H.O.O.D Recovery Services. H.O.O.D is an acronym, H-O-O-D, that stands for Hope Offered on Demand. I'm creating content daily, so within a year, you will have access to several meditations and be able to just listen to them and enjoy the podcast. If you need to reach me, and please feel free to do so, I am very responsive. If you need to reach me and have a discussion, do so at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. I heard from some of you yesterday wishing me a happy anniversary, 29 years. And I was just so grateful. I was able to get in and check those emails and respond to you guys. And you know what? It just really warmed my heart. So I want to say thank you once again. I think I'm getting my first win back. Starting to feel some energy coming to my body as we do the podcast. Let's go ahead and get into the spiritual principle a day. August 29th, hope in darkness and in light. We find hope again and again as our journey continues. In the dark moments when we realize we can go on anyway, and in our triumphs, it is possible. Living Clean, Chapter 7, Living Our Principles. The first bit of hope we experienced in NA came from a place of defeat. Using drugs hadn't worked for us. Our grand experiment of solving our living problems with mind and mood altering substances was a profound failure. I know that's right. In that dark place, though, a ray of light shone through. We could find a way out of addiction and into recovery. Once we have been clean for a while, many of our hopes come from more positive places. We think about how much more we can accomplish with our career goals, our creative endeavors, our loving relationships. Maybe we want to sponsor more addicts to try, maybe we want to sponsor more addicts or try out new service positions. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Having hope for the good things that will come our way is great, but we would do well to remember how much more precious hope can be when we have very little of it. We are bound to experience tremendous disappointments when we stay clean for years and decades, some of which rattle us to our very core. We bury parents, children, siblings, or spouses, and lots of fellow addicts. We lose jobs and relationships. We make terrible mistakes and hurt people we love. Guilt, shame, and loneliness take up so much space in the room that it's hard to make any space for hope, even when it's what we most desperately need. I almost start crying after that. Wow. Hope is why we must stay in the practice of going to steps, sharing, calling our sponsor, reading literature, and talking to other addicts when life is going well for us. We get to see clean addicts find their way through incredible difficulties by showing up, no matter how fragile or broken, and putting themselves in the position to receive hope. When we find ourselves there, fragile or broken, we think of others we have seen walk through it, and we know it can be done. We must go on. Together, we can. I will pay attention to members going through the unthinkable and do my best to offer them hope. If I am one of those members, I will go where I can find hope to an NA meeting. Hope in darkness and in light. So here we go. Let's talk about this, because what happens when an individual is coming into Narcotics Anonymous, they're coming from a place of defeat. I tried everything that I could. I tried to get high every day, and I nearly lost it all. And sometimes the only thing that they have left is their life, right? Relationships, jobs, finances. Many of us have lost our loved ones and we survived, so we're dealing with survivor's guilt. The only thing that they have a lot of times, most of the time. When we come, not just they, us, when we come to Narcotics Anonymous, it's our life. And we're not feeling too hopeful about the future. We just know that we heard about this place and we need to be here. Right? And we sit there in a space sometimes that is totally disassociated and disconnected from the rest of the room at the meeting. Right? Then walks in Sister MightyStream and her hopeful self, screaming with love and joy, people jumping up to give her a hug, and we're sitting there angry. Like, really? Is it possible to have a smile that is that wide and bright? Right? I'm making a joke because when I walk in the room, probably the first thing people see are my white teeth, right? Because a lot of baking soda on those jokers, right? So when I walk in the room, the first thing someone probably notices is she is smiling. Is she seriously smiling? Then don't let me share, because when I share, I'm going to share about what's really going on. And sometimes that stuff is nothing to smile about. And they're probably thinking, that's odd. She seems so happy. And she just lost so and so. Her nephew just got shot 8 times in the street and they can't find the murderer. I can't make this make sense. She's going through way more than me, and she is far happier. And then I look over and I see them looking at me with this disgust, but awe. And I'd make a decision to sit down next to them rather than anyone else. And because it's a basic text study, I'm going to open my book and share with them, lean a little into them so that they can see where I'm reading. And I'm going to use my finger specifically to make sure they know where we're at. All the while, they're trying to figure out, why is she even sitting next to me? I don't want to be bothered with this. I don't know this lady like that. And in my mind, even though I give the appearance of following along and listening, I'm also praying. I'm praying silently in my mind that they don't leave here before the miracle happens. And then the sharing begins. And I give every person that's sharing my undivided attention. I'm not laughing. I'm not joking. I'm not tee-hee-hawing. I'm not rolling my eyes at their share, even if I know they full of BS. I'm not doing any of that. I'm very neutral, but I'm paying not too much attention. I'm not trying to have this stare down with them, but I'm letting them know I'm listening to them. The only thing that I owe you is to love you, and I am listening in love to you. And the newcomer is watching everyone, but they're also noticing the lady that walked in the room with that big smile, right? They're watching how I'm responding to everyone that's sharing. And in that moment, I notice that the hope that I have in the light is suddenly becoming something that this dark, unhappy, defeated individual is starting to embrace. And I can sense hope coming alive in them in their darkness. Then the 5 minutes to share at the end for a newcomer, they get an opportunity to tell us their name, how they got here. And they can barely talk because they're so afraid. And then after the meeting, people embrace them and give them a hug. And when I get up to them, they look at me with this look in their eye that is no longer hateful, but now they understand. I was in a dark place and hope came in the room and sat itself right next to me. How powerful is that? How beautiful is that? And that's what we can do, whether or not we need hope on a particular day or we want to give some. We can do it in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. I hope today that you're the hope. And if you need hope, I hope that we're the hope, right? We owe nothing to one another more but to love each other and to embrace one another and to make sure that you never, ever have to feel again that you are alone. My name is MightyStream. I've enjoyed talking to you today, and I am going to be talking to you tomorrow.